All right, the left is completely okay with counselors if they are encouraging minors to take things like life-altering hormone drugs or even undergo invasive surgery to remove healthy body parts. But if a counselor is trying to provide minors with help to reduce or eliminate unwanted same-sex attractions or behaviors or gender confusion or anything of that nature, well, that, at least in the left's mind, is just plain wrong, even criminal if they had their way. Well, earlier this year, city officials in Waterloo, Iowa, approved a local ordinance that prevented counselors from doing just that. But thankfully, they got their heads set straight with a little help, I might add. And here to give us the details is Matt Staver. He, of course, is the founder and CEO and chairman of Liberty Counsel. Matt, great to see you. Welcome to Washington Watch.
Thank you, Jody. Good to be with you as always.
Well, likewise. Thank you for all you do. All right, fill in any missing details in this case. It's amazing. Tell us about how Liberty Counsel stepped in and what kind of response you had.
You know, this is typical of these states, or in this case, a city or a county, jumping into this particular LGBTQ agenda and trying to interfere with the relationship that's sacrosanct from counselor to client, with the confidentiality, and they barge into the counseling room. And that's what they did. By a 6-1 vote in May of 2023, the city council in Waterloo passed this ordinance that banned any counsel that a minor wants to obtain or that clients or counselors are wanting to be able to offer to these clients that would seek to change unwanted same-sex attractions, behaviors, or gender confusion. So if a minor came in with the parents and they sought a counselor that's an expert and they're having these struggles with unwanted same-sex attractions, they don't want to act on those attractions, they don't want to engage in behavior, they're not wanting to be confused about their birth gender, being a boy, they want to be comfortable with being the boy or the girl that they were born to be, the counselor under that law would not be able to help them. In fact, the counselor would have to override their particular objective, which violates not only the very core of counseling, but certainly violates the First Amendment. So we sent a demand letter because a counselor in Waterloo got wind of this ordinance, and certainly it would impact that counselor's practice. We looked at it, sent a demand letter, and gave a deadline for them to respond. Otherwise, we would file suit. We outlined some of our cases that we just won at the Court of Appeals that cost the city and counties in those particular cases in Florida significant damages for these unconstitutional laws, and we demanded they repeal it. So they got together, and to their credit, they did by a vote of 4-3. They passed it by 6-1. Now they have repealed it last week by a vote of 4-3, and they have avoided a costly lawsuit that they clearly would have lost in this case.
So counselors will be free now to help these minors. You mentioned some other cases that are similar that Liberty Counsel that y'all have been able to win. Can you real quickly kind of shine some light on what those cases were all about, the similarities?
Yeah, they're all the same. This was down in Boca Raton, Florida, in South Florida, and also Palm Beach County. They passed very similar, identical ordinances. We filed suit on behalf of 2 counselors. Then City of Tampa also passed a similar ordinance. All of these are virtually cookie-cutter ordinances across the country, whether they're at the state or local level. We filed 2 separate lawsuits, went to the Court of Appeals, won both of those. The City of Tampa has now been permanently blocked from this particular ordinance and has had to pay nearly $1 million as a result of this litigation. The city of Boca Raton, Florida, and Palm Beach County are going to also have to incur about $1 million plus because of this unconstitutional act. The Court of Appeals also found that these were a violation of the First Amendment. And it violates the First Amendment, Jody, because it prevents one viewpoint on this subject matter. So counselors, if they have a person that comes in struggling with their identity, they can counsel them to get these harmful puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and amputate your breasts at age 16. But they can't counsel them, even if they want to be comfortable in their birth sex, they can't counsel them to change those unwanted behaviors, attractions, or the unwanted confusion that they're experiencing. 85% plus of children, adolescents, and teens that go through this gender questioning, gender confusion, they naturally resolve without any counseling intervention to be accepting of their birth sex. So if a boy has confusion and thinks that he's a girl, wants to identify as a girl, 85% of those that go through that area of their life, they resolve, and the boy becomes comfortable with being the boy that God made him to be. Now, you put that person in a situation where these laws are, and someone says, I'm struggling, I'm a boy, but I'm having these strange feelings of being a girl. Can you help me? I don't want to be a girl. I want to be comfortable with my boyhood. And if the counselor now pushes this boy or this girl down the road of puberty blockers, cross-sex hormones, and this invasive, permanent mutilating surgery, that is very, very dangerous and oftentimes premature. But certainly these government officials have no business, none whatsoever, in the privacy of the counseling room dictating a radical LGBTQ agenda.
Well, thank you so much for being on the front line of this battle. We've only got about a minute or so left. But isn't this the conversion therapy argument that you're really attacking and winning with the position you're taking in Liberty Counsel right now?
Yes, that's in fact, we are. There are efforts out there, and there's also a bill, H.R. 15, the so-called Equality Act, that if passed, there's 212 Democrats in the House that sign on. They only need 6 Republicans now to even put it over the objection of the Speaker on the floor and vote for it. That would be something that would force this agenda everywhere and also prevent counselors and clients from providing the life-saving help and counsel that these young boys and girls and families need.
Matt Staver, Liberty Counsel, thank you for all the work that you have done over the years in Liberty Counsel across the board, and we're grateful for you joining us on Washington Watch.
Thank you, Jody. Good to be with you.